Hey, what's up? Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Horror Debate. I'm Jeff Rowdy Jake here, and alongside me, as always, Michael Mandy.
And this week we're going to be reviewing another of the 8 films to die for. This one is Dark Ride.
Did you die for this one?
No, but a lot of kids did.
Yes, they sure did. The ones in the movie, anyway.
Yeah, directed by Craig Singer, and he's directed 4 other films, and I haven't heard of any of those other 4.
Well, that's okay, because, I'm going to disagree with you already. See, we're not even like 10 seconds into the review, and I'm going to disagree with you. I thought, honestly, now we've seen how many of these now? This is like our 5th one, something like that. And I got to tell you, this one I actually enjoyed a lot more than the others.
Yeah.
I did. I mean,
why do you think you're going to disagree with me already? All I said was the name of the film and the director's name.
No, I asked if you died for it. You said no.
Well, I didn't die for it.
Well, that's true.
Did you die for it?
But it was better.
It was better.
It was better.
I'm still not going to die.
All right, plot us.
Oh, well, this is a plot that actually is very similar to Tobe Hooper's film from 1981, The Funhouse. Basically, a bunch of teenagers on a road trip decide, hey, let's go to this carnival and sneak inside the Funhouse, and there's a nasty serial murderer guy, whatever, hiding in there, and he picks them off one by one.
Now, if you've ever seen the game Splatterhouse, okay, and I know you probably haven't because you're not, down with all these old video games and stuff, but back in the Genesis days and the TurboGrafx 16 days... Hey,
I had a Sega Genesis.
This dude...
Streets of Rage was cool, man.
Streets of Rage was cool. The Splatterhouse was cooler, and the main guy in Splatterhouse looked almost just like this guy and vice versa. I'll show it to you later. You're going to dig it. But
well, the killer in this film takes the face off of a kid's
It's a babyface killer.
Yeah, babyface.
Babyface killer.
So I guess that's what we'll call him, babyface.
Yeah.
I was thinking of calling him Straight Jacket because since he busted out of an insane asylum, he still was wearing the straight jacket.
Yeah, this guy was like a mixture of what I say in the movie, a mixture of Kane from See No Evil and a mixture kind of Michael Myers.
The Michael Myers escaping from the mental institution.
Had a little bit of Jason in him, to be honest with you.
The little white baby mask could have been, from far away, he did look like Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, kind of, and it walked like a Crip. Right? I mean, kind of had the whole kind of limpy thing going on, right?
Yeah.
Like, kind of a peg leg with a kickstand deal, I mean, yeah.
He walked kind of like the guy from the, what was that film? The guy who did he did Big Fish, and he also did, he died during production. Oh, the Devil's Rejects. The guy at the opening of Devil's Rejects, a big, tall guy with the limp, and he passed away right after the filming of that film.
I don't even know who you're talking about, man.
We'll show you Devil's Rejects
but
again.
I can't think of it. But anyway, bottom line is...
Not Devil's Rejects. Yeah, was it Devil's... No, House of a Thousand Corpses.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
He was the guy that broke in at the end and saved Sherry Moon and when she was tied to the chair when the whole house was burning down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have a name. But it doesn't matter. Anyway...
He's the guy who was dragging the naked girl in the opening credits.
Bottom line is... This is like a throwback to your 80s slasher.
Yes, it's like I said, the 80s Tobe Hooper film.
And it's done in such a way that retains a lot of the goofiness, a lot of the comedy that a lot of the 80s slasher films had.
I tell you, the guy who played Jim, Alex Solowitz, that was his name. I swear to God, the guy has got to be Willem Dafoe's kid.
Oh, he was an Alpha Dog. That's where I've seen him before. Alpha Dog's a good movie, by the way. It's not horror, but it's a good movie. I recommend everybody checks it out. It's a true story.
He was just like a smart-ass version of Willem Dafoe as a teenager.
Yeah, that's right.
He was right. I loved his lines, his expressions. He was cool.
Yeah, you loved the scene with him and the hitchhiker. That's what you loved, okay? And I already know this. You don't have to explain it to me.
Andrea Bogart.
Yeah, so anyway.
At first, I thought it was Jennifer Simpson. Jessica Simpson.
Jennifer Simpson?
I'm sorry, Jessica Simpson.
Holy smokes. Okay.
Sorry, I'm looking at her picture right now.
Well, okay. So if you're liking like the old Friday the 13th, right?
Yeah.
And you're liking the old Halloweens, and you're liking the Funhouse, as you mentioned before, and you kind of take all those and you put them in a blender,
Yeah,
and this is kind of what gets spit out. And this has got a lot of good gore in it, I thought.
Yeah.
There was some decent gore. Now the blood was starting to get a little bit on that. Remember what I called it on the other reviews? The blood was getting a little bit on that Frank's hot sauce kind of thing. Okay, it wasn't quite looking red. It was kind of looking like a little bit
brighter.
A little bit brighter, yeah. And I wasn't real thrilled with that, but Acting wise, I think everybody was pretty good for the parts they played. We laughed.
Oh, we were laughing because they were so
got a hell
bad.
out of it.
They were overacting so much. Andrea Bogart, especially, on doing that. She was the hitchhiker, and she was just a hitchhiker with a lot of baggage attached.
That reminded
to
me
her.
a ton of. She looked like Sherry Moon, number one, and number two. That whole scene kind of brought me back to the Texas Chainsaw vibe. With the hitchhiker and everything.
Yeah, picking up the crazy hitchhiker.
Yeah, so, this movie...
But at least they didn't kick her out like they did in Texas Chainsaw.
Right.
Which is good, because she took her shirt off later.
Well, this movie, it brings you back to the good old days, as far as I'm concerned, of horror. And kind of why we got into this genre so deeply to begin with is because the movies were fun. They were exciting. It was goofy.
I don't know about exciting. But
well, no, this movie did have some exciting parts to it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously...
It had a couple of oh-come-ons, though.
Well, it had a few oh-come-ons, but it didn't really hurt it all that much, really.
No,
I mean,
it just,
because we kind of knew what we were getting into,
yes.
right? All right.
Yeah.
And as far as these 8 films to die for, as we alluded to earlier, I mean, this is probably at the top of my list right now. I mean, it was certainly the most fun.
It's just so funny. The way they marketed all these 8 films to die for, we were expecting it to be something extraordinary, something extra special that you couldn't get in a normal film or a normal theater. And this could have easily been released straight to video and no one would have noticed.
Yeah. I don't think if you put it into theater, it's going to do so well today. I don't know, though, man.
I don't know. They released that crappy movie, The Haunting.
I think there's a lot of people that are still kind of clamoring for this sort of horror flick, I mean, everything went so gruesome. Everything went to torture, now lately, the big torture film genre. It's almost a genre in its own now.
Captivity.
Captivity, yes. And it's almost like, it's a relief to see a movie come out like this. It's like music.
Everything goes around.
I'm gonna,
or even styles, clothing styles.
Yeah,
you can't walk into Mervyn's now without seeing flower prints. Going, gee, wait a second, Goldie Hawn wore that in Laugh-In in the '60s.
Exactly. Yeah. So everything comes around again, and honestly, it was refreshing, man. It felt like a breath of fresh air to me to see a campy, corny '80s slasher flick brought into. 2006 or whatever. Hey man, this is good stuff, and I'm not ashamed to say it.
Well, it's refreshing. I mean, it would be a good effort for a first film. I mean, there were a couple of rough edges. A couple of rough things
there
on
were
it.
more rough edges than a blade, man, like a razor blade. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, like I said, you kind of knew what you were getting into to begin with.
Check your brain at the door,
well,
and you'll enjoy it.
I don't want to necessarily say that. I mean, I don't think it was a stupid movie by any means. I just think that there were...
you thought The Funhouse by Tobe Hooper was a stupid movie.
You know what?
And at least that Funhouse had a car that had a track on the floor.
But that movie was no fun to me, though.
They're in a funhouse, and they're walking through all these narrow things, and you're looking at the floor, and there's no track for the car to
Here's the main difference between this and Tobe Hooper's deal, okay? When I watched Tobe Hooper's movie, I sat there with my hand stuck up to my chin going, what am I watching? Okay? I mean, I didn't...
That killer had motivation,
But I didn't vibe on that. I wasn't grabbing that. It wasn't grabbing me,
Well, it should have, because that killer had motivation and a reason for his mask. Whereas,
no.
Okay, what did the killer look like? Why was he wearing babyface mask in this movie? We don't know. He just did it to be scarier looking.
Yeah.
There was no reason for him to wear the mask.
You know what, though? I don't know what it is. Some of these older horror flicks that have been done years and years ago, they just don't get me, man. They don't. And I don't get them. And now you're seeing one that pays homage to so many of our favorites.
That's a point in this one's favor.
Into one movie.
That's a point that actually I'm going to give a point to this in this one's favor. This could have easily been called The Funhouse, and it's a remake of the Tobe Hooper film The Funhouse, which is what so many studios and films are doing nowadays. But at least look, you're going to take the idea of a film, change the characters' names, and do something at least half-assed original to it, and call it something new. I'll give you credit for being half-assed creative.
Okay.
And so this film was half-assed creative. Okay, I'll give you a point to it.
Yeah.
You did something a little bit different, but it wasn't a direct copy. I mean, stealing even the name of a film nowadays. Come on. That's ultimate in laziness.
This movie, like I said, it took the best parts of a lot of our favorites and kind of threw them in the blender. It came out with this really weird concoction, but it worked for me. I was entertained. It sounded good. Some of the surround effects were fantastic.
Some of the laughing
and
in
the
house.
laughing and the creaks and the things like that. They sounded good.
Yeah, the laugh was coming from behind us.
I gotta say it again though. This whole widescreen deal, whatever these guys are doing to not fill up the entire width of a widescreen TV in an anamorphic presentation, please stop.
Yeah.
Do what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, take up the whole screen.
I didn't buy a widescreen TV so I could see a movie in a frame. Okay, I want to see
black
it take
square
up the
around
whole freaking screen. What are they doing?
Another thing I liked about this film was a very cliched move that they did. You've got the main character in the foreground, in focus, and they're crying, and it's total darkness behind them. And all of a sudden, the lightning flashes, and you see about 30 feet far away
Yes,
the killer
I love this
just
scene.
standing there, not moving nothing. And then when the lightning goes away, the character is still sitting there in the foreground crying because she didn't see behind her. And you knew when the lightning flashed.
What did I say, Mike?
Yeah.
What did I say when the lights went out? I said, "What? It's going to be like way close now."
But then we were waiting, going, "Are they gonna? Okay, we know they're gonna do it. They have to do it. They'll be stupid if they don't do it. And oh my God, are they gonna do it right, or are they gonna screw it up?" And then, bam, guys, they did it right.
They did
and
it
we
right.
just went, "Oh, cool."
They did a lot right.
You know,
this.
we knew it was coming, but it was still satisfying
Yes.
when we saw it.
Yes, they did a lot right in this movie, and that's why I'm not just going to give it a point, like you said earlier. I'm going to give it 4 points, and I'll tell you why I'm going to give it the 4, Mike. Because number one, like I said, the most important thing in these horror movies is some sort of connection to the characters. And while I didn't feel sorry for them, they all had very distinct personalities. They all kind of played off of each other. They were comedic. Everything worked. As far as the interaction between the characters,
They definitely had some kind of, I guess, was it chemistry between
there was
the
chemistry.
four of them.
And we got to mention Jamie-Lynn Sigler, the daughter of Tony Soprano, right? I mean, and I'll be honest with you, Mike, and I was honest with you. Before we watched this movie,
You were going, uh-oh.
right? I said, "Oh no," because I've seen her in other things, and she wasn't so good, right? As far as I was concerned.
Maybe hanging out with James. How do you pronounce his last name? Gandolfini?
Oh, Gandolfini.
Yeah. I want to make sure I pronounce that right. Don't want Tony Soprano knocking on my door.
That's right. But, this movie, she didn't really have the opportunity to...
irritate you
to
as much.
irritate. Exactly. That's right. So for, it worked. I mean, it was a perfect role for her as far as what I was concerned. I mean, I thought she did a very competent job. I thought everybody really did a competent job.
Yeah.
So
it had a few horror movie cliches in it, but that's
what horror movie that we've watched in the last
Yeah.
6 months has not had a horror movie cliche in it? Come on, But it's 4-star worthy, man. I had a good time with it, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for art here, man.
This movie is not art.
It's
guys.
not art, but it's fun. It's a little romp. It's a good time. And it's the best of the 8 films to die for so far, and we've seen about 5.
Half of them.
Yeah. So
I don't know. What was it? Undead or
Unrest.
Unrest. Why do
Unrest
I
was
always
good.
call it Undead, man?
Unrest was good.
Unrest was pretty good.
It was pretty good. This was more entertaining though. That was more on a serious note.
Yeah, this was a little more like the 80s type, silly, grindhouse films.
This was perfect for what I was looking for tonight, Mike. This was
Excellent.
perfect. So that's why I'm giving it the 4. On a normal day, I might give it a 3.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is the perfect thing that I was looking for tonight.
This is a normal day for me. 3
Okay.
stars. Okay, I'm Michael Mandy, and
How many stars are you giving
I
it?
just said it's a normal day.
It's a
for me.
normal day
3
for you're giving it
stars.
3. Okay, I just want to be clear now.
I did say it. Listen to this
sorry.
again.
All right. He's Michael Mandy.
And he's Rowdy Jeff.
That's right. And we'll see you next week at the Horror Debate.